I can't believe I'm saying this already, but we've got snowflakes flying. And not just for the far north. Nope, this system's going south in a big way. I'm talking about snow stretching down through the Carolinas, into Tennessee, maybe even brushing parts of Alabama and Georgia. Yeah, you heard me right. We're talking about some festive flakes flying that far south this early in the season. Now, for some of us, this'll just be something pretty to look at. For others, it's going to be the real deal. We're talking heavy snow bands, possibly a foot or more across parts of the Great Lakes and the upper Midwest. So let's break it all down together, because this setup is fascinating, and honestly, a little wild for early November. All right, let's jump in. Let's talk about what's really happening out there. Right now, the latest American model run shows this huge blast of cold air sinking south. You can literally see it pushing in. Low pressure forming, snow already starting to fall in parts of the Midwest, and a ton of energy stacked behind it. It's one of those setups where everything is coming together. Deep cold, lift in the atmosphere, and just enough moisture to get that classic early season mix of surprises. Let's start up high. This is our water vapor satellite imagery, and if you've watched me for a while, you know this is my favorite way to track where the jet stream's moving and how the upper energy is flowing. You can spot the cold air all the way up by Hudson Bay. Look at that big spin. That's a chunk of true Arctic air, just sitting there, waiting to dive south. And right now it's starting to move. As it drops, it's picking up smaller waves of energy. One rolling through the northeast, another cutting across the Midwest. And both are spinning around that main Arctic pocket like spokes on a wheel. That first wave helps drag the cold air south. The second one, that's the snowmaker, it's already sparking flakes across parts of the northern plains and upper Midwest tonight. By the way, if you'd like specific weather forecasts for your region or city, please leave them in the comments. I'll answer them individually as time allows. Also, if you like the video and subscribe to my channel, you'd be very grateful. Now, let's move on. And hey, if you're watching from Iowa or the Dakotas, drop a comment below. Let me know what you're seeing out your window. Rain, snow, maybe a mix. Because it's those ground reports that really tell us how this thing is behaving compared to what the models think. Now down at the surface, you can see that energy translating into real snow on radar. We've got a band through Iowa right now. Rain down near Des Moines, but snow up towards Spencer and Sioux City. Northern half of the state's seeing the changeover first. That's our starter system. And behind it comes the heavy hitter. That deeper cold air mass that's about to push south and set off days of snow and lake effect action. And here's where things get really interesting. I want to show you the setup aloft. This is our 500 millibar anomaly map, my snow miser versus heat miser chart. You've got the cool blues and purples representing that Arctic air, while the reds and oranges are your warmer zones. Look how that big blob of cold up by Hudson Bay starts to dive. It doesn't just nudge south, it crashes south. It becomes this bowling ball-shaped trough that just plows through the eastern half of the country. And once that happens, boom! You've got lift, instability, and widespread snow potential all the way down to the southern Appalachians. Now this next map shows what's called vorticity, basically spin and energy in the atmosphere. And I want you to look at what happens by Monday afternoon. See all that bright color over the Carolinas? That's a surge of spin diving south from the Great Lakes, right through the Tennessee Valley, and into the Appalachian chain. And anytime you've got that much spin in that cold of an atmosphere, you're cooking up lift. That's how you squeeze out snow, even in areas that normally wouldn't see it this early. Now, I'm not saying Charlotte's about to turn into a winter wonderland, but I am saying don't rule out seeing a few flakes fly in some unusual spots. We could see light snow showers or flurries break containment from the mountains into the Piedmont, maybe even into parts of the Carolinas or Virginia. It's rare, but not impossible with this setup. Let's zoom in closer, using our short-range, high-resolution model, the HRRR. It's doing a great job picking up on this system already. Right now, it shows snow spreading across Iowa and into the upper Midwest tonight. Mainly rain through Illinois and Indiana early on, but by late evening, that cold air deepens, and we start seeing that snow line shift south. Overnight tonight, northern Indiana and southern Michigan could get a solid thumping. Wet, heavy snow, not the powdery kind. The kind that sticks to trees and power lines. By Sunday morning, that band shifts east. Snow likely falling in northern Indiana, maybe reaching into northwest Ohio and Detroit by daybreak. Then, as we move into Sunday afternoon, the snow lifts north toward the US-Canadian border, through Michigan, into Ontario and Quebec. Pretty impressive early season system there. But while that's happening, the real lake effect machine starts to roar. Those northwest flow bands are going to light up over Michigan, Indiana, Ohio, and wherever those bands set up, I wouldn't be surprised to see totals topping a foot. The exact placement will wiggle, like it always does, but someone's getting buried under that setup by late Sunday into Monday. Then, overnight Sunday into Monday, a little meso-low might spin up near Lake Michigan, maybe near Chicago or Gary, Indiana. The lakes are still warm this time of year, so when that frigid Arctic air blasts over them, it's like throwing gasoline on a fire. You can get explosive snowfall rates, and that band could easily extend southward through Indiana and Ohio. By Monday morning, you might be waking up in parts of Ohio, Indiana, or even Kentucky to snow showers on the ground. Yeah, this early. Then, as that cold northwest flow hits the Appalachians, the snow cranks up for West Virginia, the Smokies, and the high country of North Carolina. Ski resorts like Snowshoe and Beach Mountain, they're going to love this. Some could get an early season dump of a foot or more, right on cue for Veterans Day week. Now, if you look up at the jet stream during this setup, oh man, it's dramatic. We've got this massive trough digging into the eastern half of the country, while a huge ridge builds over the west. It's like the atmosphere is pulling a seesaw move. Extreme warmth on one side, extreme cold on the other. And that cold? It's no joke. We're talking record-challenging lows. You might see frost and freeze alerts as far south as Alabama and northern Georgia. There are even hints that places like Tampa, Florida, could be challenging their all-time November cold records. And when you start seeing lake effect snow firing up, that's when you know winter means business. I'm talking about those famous bands setting up over the Great Lakes, hammering places like Buffalo, Erie, and Northeast Ohio. Those classic snowbelts could light up early this year. By midweek, around the 12th, things flatten out a bit. The pattern relaxes, the trough loses a little of its punch, and the extreme cold starts to back off. It'll still be colder than normal across the east, but we'll finally start inching closer to seasonal temperatures again. But don't get too comfortable, because right on cue, the West Coast steps in with a new storm train. A strong Pacific system slams into California, and the Pacific Northwest around the 13th and 14th, unloading heavy mountain snow for the Sierra Nevada, the Cascades, and eventually spreading into the Rockies. That's the start of an active stretch out west, while the central and eastern US start to rebound from the cold. Now, here's where it gets fascinating. As that western trough digs in, the central and eastern states begin to warm up again. It's like the pattern wants to keep swinging back and forth. Cold east, warm west, then warm east, cold west. This back and forth ping-pong pattern is what meteorologists call a progressive setup. It keeps systems moving quickly from west to east, which means we'll be dealing with frequent fronts, rapid temperature changes, and plenty of storm opportunities along the way. Heading toward the third week of November, it looks like another potential round of rain and storms may fire up in the central US. Especially for the southern plains and lower Mississippi Valley. We'll have to watch that closely, because that could be the next setup for some severe weather. Now when you look at the precipitation anomalies, who's wet, who's dry, it's a mixed bag. The West Coast looks great, with plenty of moisture. The Midwest and Ohio Valley have moderate precipitation. But the far southeast, you guys are looking unusually dry. Again, North Dakota, South Dakota, and into Minnesota and Wisconsin are also running drier than normal, even as everyone else catches their share of passing systems. Alright, if you'd like specific weather forecasts for your region or city, leave your region or city in the comments. I'll answer them individually as I have time. Commenting is completely free. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.